All right. And welcome back to Slurpathon, everybody. I am Thoriel the Lich, taking over hosting duties. I just want to remind everybody quickly that we are doing this all for Extra Life. All proceeds go directly to Extra Life for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and these are going to be going to Alberta's Children's Hospitals. So, yeah, if you're able to, please donate. That would be greatly appreciated. On that note, though, I would like to introduce our runner here and hand it over on to Zanuck.
Yeah, hi, my name is Zanuck. I'm a speedrunner for Axiom Verge 2 who likes to put new routes together. I'm the world record holder for 100% items, and the former world record holder for this category all earns major glitches. This run came about earlier this year when I looked at an empty leaderboard and I asked, how can I use these new glitches here? And on co-commentary, we have Seraphin. Please introduce yourself.
I am a former world record holder for any percent, which I ran on Slurpathon last year. So I know about 11% of this game.
And also on commentary, hi, I'm Thoriel, and I've played this game and time back when it came out and did commentary on Seraphin's run, so that's basically what I know about Axiom
probably
Verge
about
2.
11% of the game.
Yeah, that's about it.
Alright, well, to give a highlight of what's going on, Axiom Verge 2 is a prequel to Axiom Verge 1, wherein we play as billionaire CEO Indra Chaudhary, who just purchased her main competitor Hammond Corp, after Dr. Elizabeth Hammond mysteriously disappeared along with her entire research team from their Antarctica research station. Indra then receives some mysterious messages that claim to be Hammond that say, "Come to Antarctica." So that is where we'll be headed in 3, 2, 1, go. And we're playing in speedrun mode, which means there won't be any dialogue at all. So we'll do all of our
to
work.
start this run off quickly, we just got a $50 donation from Matsudano saying "Yeehaw Sea Shanty."
Yeehaw. Alright, and it's not ever fully explained, but Indra starts with 2 power-ups in this game, which is maybe unusual for Metroidvania. One is the private helicopter that we see here, and the other is that she can jump 2 meters in the air.
Yeah, no, that's accurate.
And in typical Metroidvania fashion, you have to start the game going to the left to be able to go right.
Yep. We need to pick up the ice axe in order to break some boxes to let us into the actual research station, where we are going to climb up to the top in order to turn the power back on. I'm also fiddling a little bit with a flashlight, because if I don't, it costs me a couple of extra frames every time I go through a door.
I was reading that in your notes, and I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it is incredibly subtle.
That is completely new information to me too. Yeah.
It almost makes me want to try any percent again, but I digress. Anyway.
Do you really want to put yourself into that?
We duck here into a completely ordinary freight elevator.
Yeah. Everything's perfectly normal. Just
Yeah.
No. Still Antarctica, right?
Still Antarctica, right?
Right.
Sure
There's
looks like
still
Antarctica.
snow on the ground.
Oh, this sign helpfully tells us where to go.
Yeah, just conveniently ignore it.
This place is still kind of maybe a little shaky from last year.
A little bit.
Yeah, a few tremors, but I'm sure it's okay.
Get the donut! Get the donut! You didn't pick up the donut!
No donut.
Damn sad.
Alright, so I've jumped as far left as I can so that I land in a shallow part and immediately come back up. And then as soon as we hear the ceiling collapse, we're going to try to clip into it. It's a little lenient, so I don't have to time it exactly with the breaststrokes. And then I can hold the active item menu down so I don't have to hold right the whole time while we sit through this drowning animation.
And that's one death.
Hopefully we'll be the only death.
Yes,
it
I'm
is,
pledging $10 per death, by the way.
So maybe, hopefully it won't be the only death, but I mean...
We'll see, yeah.
Now do the moonwalk. Do it.
I can't do the moonwalk very well on controller. I've never been able to do it.
Oh.
Very, very sorry.
Honk.
Honk.
Honk. Don't worry, I will satisfy the mandatory amount of moonwalks. I will ensure that that is met.
After we finish drowning, we have 18 to pick up. That urn is a Mashi Llama, which gives us the ability to respawn at save points. And before we get our next urn, we are going to pick up this item over here known as the Boomerang, which is not an urn, but a secret tool that will help us later.
I'm not used to seeing this much of the game, actually.
So what Xanix's doing here is called a recoil slide. He's basically using his weapon to hit the ground at an angle and push Indra back 1 pixel every time he hits the ground. By doing that, he can actually push himself out of the screen and out of bounds until he turns directions, which will flip him back inbounds. We have no idea why this works, but it does. And some of the strange things you can do, if you watch the map in the upper right, the little mini map, in a minute, he's going to drop off a ledge, and when he turns the other direction, it's going to sync back with him on the screen he's on, at the height he's on, but at the map transition. So it puts him back on the left side and on the other side of that barrier, so he can just skip a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep, we are now in an endgame area, and our only purpose here is to look at this room and leave via a save warp back to the top.
Yeah, that recoil slide is a large part of why the any percent route is as short as it is. It skips a ton. Honk.
Yep, and I note the Boomerang SFX is exactly the same as the bird flying away.
Is it? I don't think I've ever noticed.
It
Yes,
maybe
it
sped
is.
up a little.
We're learning new things today.
Dory, we probably have a moment before we get this next turn if you have any announcements real quick.
At the moment, I do not have anything other than with that $50 donation that we received 5 minutes ago, that actually does put us at all of the incentives met for today. Which I believe then anything would be going to any of the donations or incentives for tomorrow.
Cool. So the urn that was picked up number 2 here was Sheshkala, because Tom has fantastic namings, the conventions. Sheshkala is your typical ledge grab. That's it.
Yep, it strengthens the tips of your fingers so much that you can actually jump off of a ledge while you're holding onto it.
Those are some strong fingers.
Strong fingers,
It also would look there like Xanac had passed up an urn, but that actually was a flask. They give you ability points and are not quite the same thing.
Yep.
They're not required for this run.
Alright, and so now we are going to meet our first NPC of the game, Malka. We're just going to jump right over her because we don't care. You may have noticed on the other urn that it took a long time for us to collect it, so we're just going to do a collection skip there where we go through the door right as the boomerang hits the urn so that the door animation interrupts the collection animation.
Okay, I didn't know that there was other methods to interrupt the urn collection animation. I know that during the any percent run, save and quit can be used to skip. I think it's I'm not sure what the name of the urn is, but it gives you the drone.
Yep, I'm going to attempt that one as well. And there's another one that the drone can do. I call them all collection skips because they are all types of collection skip.
Yeah, the door one I've always found was funny because it lets you still see like it being collected on the inside of the building.
Yeah. Jump over this little guy for luck. Jump over this guy so I don't take damage. And now here's one of the important urns in the game. This is going to let us hack machines. Its name is Lucius. Hack machines and drones and whatnot. Mostly useful for hacking these platforms here, as well as something that we have to do at the end of the game. As well as open doors.
Incidentally, that's one of my favorite mechanics in the Axiom Verge games. Like the hacking and glitching mechanics
Yep.
are just so fun to play around with.
Yeah, this one does not really change the behavior in an extreme way, but it does
Coming out will
change the
be
behavior.
Coming out will be the one boss that I introduced everybody to last year, on Alu. This year, you're gonna get to see a few more bosses than just the one, but we're still gonna just say hi and goodbye to this one.
Yep. These are an optional bosses. All right, this is a hard collection skip to get. I don't usually get it, but I try.
That one is extremely precise.
Frame perfect, hitting the urn and pulling up the menu at 1 frame apart.
Yes. With the drone, it is much, much easier. So we just picked up the drone, which is one of the important components in our journey. And all we're going to do with it today right here is we're going to throw it over this barrier into this next area called Giguna Steps so that we can save at this save point. Recall the drone back to Indra and then save warp Indra into that area.
Yeah, this game is very strange on how it actually like applies warping and like dates of where each character is, but they also kind of tie together. So a lot of weird things like what was just done can be done.
Yep. Now that is an enemy that will stun me for 3 seconds, so it's a lot easier to hack it and make it think that it's on our team. And then I can just pass through without any issue. You may have learned this in real life, but walking through bushes takes a lot of time. So we trim them back a little bit. Now I'm picking up this urn. This is wall climb. This will let Indra... its name is Ninhursag, to be fully precise, but this will let me grab onto walls, which will unlock the next area that we need to get to.
It's your pseudo wall jump ability.
Yep. It does literally let you climb up the walls, but we don't do that because it takes too much stamina. And now you may have noticed that I jump sometimes when we go into screen transitions. It turns out that if the camera is right at the edge of the screen, that will take a few extra frames. The reason for this is generally that the camera wants to keep Indra as centered as possible. So you'll notice when it slides up and down the camera. But even when there's no need to slide and it's just the bottom of the screen, a few extra frames.
And in some places, it's realigning them because there just isn't more to show up or down on a screen.
Yeah. So this is the Breach.
Is probably my favorite place in the game because its music is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breach has awesome music and dangerous enemies. I want to avoid hitting these purple worms as much as I can because they take off a huge chunk of my health. Hey, there's a... very typical for a Metroidvania, there's an area that we can't access that is locked on the other side.
Speaking of bosses, that was the giant worm boss.
Yep, that is our second optional boss that we're going to completely ignore. I'm going to punch that guy so he doesn't shoot me.
Going back to the music, because it was mentioned earlier that the Breach has phenomenal music, and honestly, I'm a big fan of all the music in both the Axiom Verge games. I think that it was very well done.
Yeah.
Yep, I've listened to the soundtrack for the first game many more times than I've actually played the game.
Hilarious.
So now I have the slingshot hook, which lets me latch onto ledge as the drone. And now we're on our way out of the breach, trying to avoid getting hit by even more enemies. Oopsie.
This slingshot movement kind of looks easy to do, and it is easy on paper. In practice, it's actually pretty difficult to do it very consistently and very quickly.
Oh yeah, my first time through this section, I died a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, we got a new save point here. I don't even need to save at it for it to be updated. I can just save warp directly. And now Indra is up here. This is where we're going to be performing one of the largest sequence breaks of the game. And not quite.
Oh.
So I have to bring Indra back up here if I fail that, but that's okay.
And we've got a $25 donation in here from Metroid Master saying, "Gotta toss my hat on the donation hype. Thanks again for having me for Zero Mission. Put this towards any of tomorrow's incentives." Thank you very much, Metroid Master. And great run.
Thanks so much. There we are. Okay. We are, as you maybe can guess, not supposed to be up here this early. And it is going to let us fall all the way down on the left side here into a more towards the middle of the game area known as Irakar. And I'm going to try to line myself up with this ledge and move as far right as I can to miss another ledge to keep my momentum going. And I get a new save point down here. Alright, next I will do one of the other collection skips that we were talking about before. With the drone, it's a heck of a lot easier because you just press the buttons at the same time. This urn,
hilarious.
yeah, this is much, much easier. So this urn contains Kinimok, which is a breach site. It will reveal hidden breach portals as well as show us the layout of the breach on the other side. We are going to use it once here and then forget about it for the rest of the game. Now this area is the end of kind of a gauntlet that we would have gone through had we gone in the portal next to this urn, but instead we can just jump to the end of that passage and claim the reward here, which is Barrage Drone Hover. We get a couple of nice little wings on our drone that we can use to hover and flutter and fly around.
That's normally an ability you wouldn't be seeing till near end of the game.
And the great thing
Yeah.
about this is that with the slingshot hook, it provides you with extra speed that you get to go and continue with much faster than walking around, and so you're going to see me use it as much as I can.
Yeah, you get to go real fast.
Yep, real
Yeah.
fast.
It is so much quicker to slingshot hook and then just kind of flutter away after that.
Yep. Here's another case where I'm going to pull the camera away from the bottom of the screen just to save like 3 frames. And go into this room and right back out because I just want to have that save room on my map before I head into Urim Valley, where we are going to get shot at by artillery.
Yep, so that's 2 save points so far that Xenic has just kind of peaked and then failed away from. And there's a very good reason for why he's done that, and that reason's actually right here. Because this urn has the best name ever. It's literally just called Done.
Done. Yep, I've been pronouncing it Dune. Yeah, Done is the fast travel ability. So now I'm going to bring Indra back to base. Fast travel is, one of the things that we need to perform our major glitches later in the run. But for right now, we're going to clean up a couple of extra urns here. If I go east of this time, it's going to bring me down to the lake area where I will head into the water.
It might be Dune, but I've always called it Done just because it sounded funny to just have it called Done.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
A fast travel to save points. It's like, it makes sense.
Yep.
I'm done. Go to the save point.
Done. Leaving. Bye.
Done.
And that kind of pun is not something I would have put past Tom to do.
Yep.
No, me either.
Now we're
I
a
love
little
how you-
sluggish moving through the water. But still, throwing the drone gives me a bunch of good speed that I'm going to maintain with the hover as much as I can. And then I will damage boost through this false floor that's littered with enemies on my way to pick up the gravity suit. I mean, Liru, which is underwater movement.
You have to laugh at the fact that you just called these like or extra earns. Like, you know, they're not actually intentional for you to get these in the game. Like, who needs them?
I mean, you don't need them to beat the game. Have you ever seen the any percent route?
That's like, did you watch my run last year? I'm sitting here going, what are all these things?
Yeah. I
Yep.
haven't seen these since I first played the game.
Since the game came out?
Yeah, so right there, I just did a collection skip with the fast travel combined, so I don't have. It doesn't specifically mean that I have to open the pause menu, but I can open the map and accomplish the same thing.
I actually had to rewatch that to see what actually happened there.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one. I've never seen that. Going
that
back to the
was...
I know 11% of this game. That's an obvious fact of that right there.
Yeah.
Yep, so the urn we picked up, it gives us a shockwave ability that will let us break some things later. Of course, it's an urn we need. And then there's this item, which is the breach attractor, that will let me move breach portals around. And that is basically all we really need to do all of the glitches. But the urn that I'm about to get here is really useful because it will let me exit the breach from wherever I am. Which is much
As
better
long as
than...
the other side is open. Because they don't want you exiting into just locked. That never works out well for anyone.
Oh yeah, well there has to be space. So I'm going to exit right here onto a save point, very luckily enough.
I'm going to take a minute to remind you to do a safety save coming up.
Oops.
Also, oops.
Yep, also oops. Unfortunately, I jumped the gun on that fast travel, which is why we need a safety save later. But unfortunately, it does screw us up a little bit here. Luckily, I did take a save back here, but it does mean I need to set up everything else.
Oh, yeah.
So while we recoup a little bit, Cora, would you like to talk about the event?
Yep.
Yeah. So for everybody who's recently hopped in, this is, you know, welcome into Slurpathon. This is event that's benefiting Extra Life and Children's Miracle Network hospitals all over the world. What we are currently doing is benefiting Alberta Children's Hospitals. So anybody who possibly can, any donations are absolutely certainly appreciated. As of right now, we have a bunch of incentives up for tomorrow. So we have for Another Crab's Treasure, kill Firth with a gun. We have use glitch upsies to unlock abilities. Yeah, we have, what is that? I'm trying to read this. But not
ITG.
Not ITG. Okay.
It's
Everybody wants to see which.
not ITG, the arcade game.
Oh, okay. Everybody wants to see Kill Firth with a gun for sure. Not ITG. We have play complex difficulty charts. Beat Mania. We have song request minimum $10 donation. Rockbound 4. There's song request for a minimum $5 donation. And for $250 at that, for the Archipelago run, we disable hints for all item locations, which is absolutely something we want to see.
It just means that when we go to do that tomorrow night, because I'm actually in that run, we will be having to find everything. So it's a randomizer that is a bunch of things shuffled amongst a bunch of different games, and not having any hints means we have to basically check everything.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, not having any hints for Archipelago was certainly certainly an interesting time for anybody who's ever done a multi-world in the past. It can.
It's definitely a big one, because it means when we start kind of getting towards the end and we're going, okay, we've got all the things to get everywhere. There's like 300 checks. What do we check first? We can't hint to find out.
Yeah.
We just kind of gotta go for it.
And then, of course, you have to basically just take all the out-of-the-way item checks, regardless of whether or not, because now you don't know if it's useful or not. You can't hint in advance, so...
So basically, if you want to see a lot more of 5 different games, it's a big thing. It's worth it.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yep, definitely.
I'm absolutely looking forward to that run tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, I got too excited to talk about the glitch that we're going to do that I jumped the gun on that fast travel, and gave you a good preview of what happens when we fail the glitch.
Yeah.
This is why we do safety saves.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, it was just slightly too early for the safety save.
Yeah, normally that's not a problem right there because, you know, I'm patient enough for that, but it is going to be, at least I will take a safety save this time before doing the regular fast travel. Alright, what I'm doing right there is just canceling the vertical movement of the hover, which still allows me to have the speed. Just a few of the neat things I learned while researching how to go fast in this game.
This game certainly has a lot of fun speed strats to do. Honestly, it's just a really fun game to play in the first place.
And as I want to take a quick minute, just to note something that we did note last year at like the end of the run, but I'd like to note it a little sooner. This entire game was designed and made by one singular person. Like, Tom Happ is an absolute madman. He designed the graphics for this, the gameplay for this. He did all of the music for this, and he did an absolutely phenomenal job.
Yep. And now what I'm doing,
100% worth playing.
now I am setting up the fake fast travel. I put Indra where I want her to be for out of bounds, and then I'm going to send the drone to another room. I'm going to take my safety save here, and then I'm going to recall and fast travel at the same time, and fail it again because I didn't use my normal method. But that's okay because we can just launch back into it. And this time we are right where we were right before actually performing it. And this time I'm not going to do anything fancy.
So, I myself am not familiar with this glitch at all. I haven't seen this one before.
I haven't either. I'm interested to see how this works out. Actually, I probably did see it when
There
I
we
played
are.
this run. Like,
Okay, so what happens successfully now is that this room is considered to be the active room, and will even show us the little animation of the drone respawning here. But if you look at the mini-map on the upper right, we're actually controlling Indra off-screen. So this is very much like the recoil, the effect of the recoil slide, except I'm in a completely different room, and I don't have to worry about what happens if I turn around. So actually, this route that I just went on, this is the beginning of the game area where things were shaky, and I just went into the breach on the broken bridge, which was out of bounds, and so it didn't actually break. And just like in the beginning of the game, I'm going to fall down here and go to the left, and we are going to get a late game item known as Nanite Mist, We just entirely skipped the whole quest to get it. And then I'm going to come over here. And now I'm going to do a trick that is monumentally easier and does not require, much more other than moving Indra up to here.
Yeah, that one was different. I actually really like that out of bounds trick. Just full on spawn Andra and a completely despawned in an active room.
Yep. We're going to do something similar here, except what we're going to do is we're going to position Indra in this doorway that we just opened, and then deploy the drone and save warp. This will reset the room that we were just in, so the door is now closed. And when I recall, because Indra's in the door, she cannot be placed there, and now she is in the room at that save point we were just at, which will let me move into another room, pulling the portal out of bounds to that room, which normally does not have a portal. And that was the same trick we used in the for getting mist, just a different setup to get it. And now we're picking up this urn, which gives me a type of screw attack called Zal2. And then it is time to visit the emergence in reverse.
This is what the incentive was for.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So we're going to go back over this way without cheating this time, because now we have this ability, the nanite mist, that lets us fly around. But we're still going to come like all this way a bit. And for whatever reason, there is a very convenient grate right here. And I can use that to position Indra, and we're going to do the fake fast travel again to go right there.
And I want to make just a quick note to you, a quick reminder to do a safety open the door coming up.
Yep. So this room again that you're looking at right now is very similar to the other room. It's just closer. There is a portal here, but Indra's already in the right place, and so I'm not going to be walking around. I'm just going to pull the portal over to here, and we are going to wind up in that area I was talking about before, and the door is now open. The enemies in this room, particularly that one right there, is very dangerous, and in practice I get about 2 hits before I die. Funny enough, we are now in the emergence. In the back area where normally we have to go through the front to get this item. Alright, and that was Reverse Emergence. Thanks so much for funding that, everyone. It's time.
Very nice. Very well done.
Yep. I recently discovered a better setup for that than I had been doing when I submitted this run, so it is actually quite fast now, even though it does still require an additional fast travel with Indra, which makes it slower than the actual world record is. So it won't be used in real runs. So here's us using Shockwave our one time, and then we'll throw the drone and go get this next urn.
That fast travel that's done during the reverse emergence, I believe, is also one of the ones that can crash the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was a fake fast travel, just the same.
So, yeah,
just a convenient way to get out of bounds.
Move to do.
What was that?
So it's a risky move to do.
Yes. Luckily,
nothing like risking crashing your game for swag.
Right.
Yep. So much like all the other stuff that we've done, we are going in reverse through this area of the game in order to get to this much faster. I pick up an item for free there. It gives me some damage resistance, but I don't need it too much since I have a screw attack and I can dodge most enemies.
Picked up that item for free, but you didn't pick up the donut for free? I'm disappointed.
All right.
My
How about I make it up?
disappointment is
Can I make it up to
inevitable.
you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the urn we just picked up is the last urn we need to beat the game. It contains a power-up we don't need at all. And now I'm going to come back across the broken bridge to pick up the donut. Because the end of the game is over here. The entrance to the end of the game is near the very beginning. So just set up basically what's going on over here. The final boss is more like a puzzle than combat.
There's the final boss in this game?
Oh yeah, yeah. The enemy percent doesn't see the final boss, but because we picked up a new mon, which makes us not return to Indra anymore, we now have to face the final boss. And in particular, there's something in this room that she wants that we do not want her to have, and so we are going to blow it up. By draining these 4 tanks into it. She would like to slime all of them after the first one, but we can skip the cutscene by quickly switching forms, and then there's only the one to deal with. I'll move to the center so that she has less distance to drag me across the room, and then I'll set the bomb to blow, and we will do our own escape sequence.
Can't have a Metroidvania without an escape sequence.
Also, this escape sequence music is absolutely banging.
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
It's a shame we want to do the escape sequence as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And like, the thing that disappoints me about any percent is the escape sequence in like this category, for example, is
And
way
time.
more fun to do because of the slingshot.
GG.
All right, thank you so much. I would like
Beautiful
to
run.
shout out. Yeah, final time of 28:43 in-game time. The run is invalid because of the crashes. Real-time attack of 35 minutes. Pretty close to the time estimate, but that was because of the unintended crash. So that was 1 death and 2 crashes, so I'll be paying up $30. I'd like to shout out the Axiom and Verge community, especially Sabra Messia for pioneering all urns, Maragon for their early work on documenting glitches, Scarabee for claiming the world record from me, Seraphin for inviting me to submit the Slurpathon, Thomas Happ, of course, for creating an awesome series of games, and of course the Slurpathon team for having me on my first marathon run ever.
Very, very well done, Zanuck. GG. It was a great run. And I got to see far more of the game than I usually do, along with seeing some new glitch utilization, which was pretty cool.
Yep, thank you.
And I believe that heads us off for Axiom Verge 2, and coming up next is Axiom Verge 1, being run by yourself, Thoriel.
That would be correct.
Yep, and hosted by me, so...
Places!
It had to be done, didn't it?